Hey guys, thank you so much for joining. It's Dr. Ray of Third Eye Parenting. And today I am here to continue the conversation that we've had for the past couple of weeks, and that is physical reactive parenting. And many of us, we engage in these behaviors or these reactions to our child's behavior. And afterward, we feel terrible or we feel emotional or we feel that maybe it wasn't the right decision. And maybe it's bringing like a schism or like a separation between you and your child, and you want to really work on that relationship. So this is what, if you're being called to watch these videos and learn and be more aware of how you're reacting to your child's behavior, then you're in the right place. So we spoke about zero tolerance behaviors. Spoke about deal breaker behaviors, and you can check those videos out. Today we're going to talk about something different, but also something that lends itself to reactive parenting, and that is generational trauma that we have, that is passed down, that we inherited, that's passed down generationally. All right. Most of us are parenting on a program, right? We're not really, oftentimes, we're not parenting from our wise mind, right? From the front of our brains, where we make all of the complex decisions, planning, understanding, organizing what's happening. This is our mind's wise mind. Also from our intuition, right? From our intuitive sense and sense of intuition. A lot of us are not tapping into that, and instead we're parenting on a automatic program. And that's because of issues that our mommies, our grandmammies, our grandparents, what they went through. And what they went through is now passed down, like I said, generationally onto our this automatic default setting. And it doesn't have to be this way, not if we don't want it to be this way. So why do we want to control our children? Why? Okay, yes, we want to keep them safe. We want to make sure that they're not in harm's way. That's zero tolerance behaviors. That you can watch in the other video. Outside of that, why do we feel we need to control our children? Are we trying to control them to the point that they are mini robots themselves? Like, a lot of us feel like our children are just bad. Like my child is just a bad kid. Like my daughter, she's just bad. My son, he's just bad in general. How's your son doing? Oh, he's bad. He's like a bad boy. Like we really believe sometimes that our children are born bad, like inherently bad, right? Like, are they born this way? Right? Where we feel that they're born this way and we have to get them straight by, these corrective measures because this is the way they were born and it's our job to straighten them out. Where did we get this line of thinking from? Because this is not how we viewed our children historically. Prior to the Middle Passage and colonization, way back on the continent, or even in the Americas, with the indigenous people that were here, we didn't view our children as bad seeds that needed to be straightened out. No, children in those times, by melanated people, were viewed as God's reincarnated, sacred gifts from the Creator. That's how we viewed our children. So when did this mindset shift? Religion, Puritan thinking, right, from Europeans and through colonization, a lot of what we do is influenced by that, by the thinking of other schools of thought, right? So a lot of our parenting is influenced by religious beliefs and Puritan thinking. So what would be the difference in how you approach your child if you had these two different extreme schools of thought? So, for example, parent A views their child as being born a sinner and needs to get their child right. And parent B views their child as a sacred gift from God, a spiritual reincarnation, and they view their children as a spiritual reincarnation that needs to be guided to their highest purpose on earth, as God's on earth. These two mindsets will produce extremely different actions every time, right? So you got to check your mindset. Where did you get your mindset from, right? Lastly, during slavery, humans were beat and broken into submission. So through this fear and through this submission, many people would do whatever would be required of them through this fear. So these enslaved people would do, many of them would do what's required because of fear and fear. Right? Now, you have these children, and although, think about this, melanated people have only been able to legally parent for 150 years. That's it, only 150 years of independent parenting. Because prior to that, melanated people did not own, or legally, the children were not theirs legally. They belonged to whatever slave master, I guess, that they were under. It was not your child. You may have been your child biologically, but not on paper, and not in the things that you were allowed or not allowed to do. Doesn't that strike you that we've only had 150 years of independent parenting? While we were underneath this system of slavery, we worked, because we know these children are still ours biologically, and we worked to do whatever we could so that we can make sure that our children would stay alive. So parents are constantly ensuring that they're preparing them for the world that they, as parents, we're going to leave this world behind and leave our children there. So we're constantly working to prepare our children for the world that they are inheriting. So as a parent, you want to do whatever you need to do, right, to make sure that your child is going to be able to, be alive. So in these times, of course, I can understand that parents would need to mimic the way that they were being treated with submission and fear. They would need to mimic that with their children, because they would want their child to be submissive and fearful so that they can stay alive. Now, this is a genetic, intergenerational, traumatic experience that is passed down from one generation to the next. The thing is, we're not in danger of our lives anymore in that sense. We don't have to be submissive or cower in fear in order to stay alive. If anything, we would especially need to have, to raise our children to be able to question what issues, what's going on, organize and assert themselves, right? We're in a world, we're living in a world full of inequity and hate. And the last thing we need is for our children to go into fight or flight mode anytime something happens, where they can't use their higher thinking, or they can't tap into their intuition to know what's the next thing that they need, right? How can they critically think and plan for a brighter future? The moral of the story is this: we do not have to do what may have been necessary to do in the past. This is a new day. So let's raise our children to reflect that. Let's stop parenting from a place of automatic programming. Let's be aware and conscious of where these reactions are coming from, and then make a decision, make a choice on how we want to respond to our children. All right. If you like this video, please keep coming back. Like, subscribe, share. And you can check me out on Third Eye Parenting on IG. And you can email me. All my information is in my bio. So thank you so much for joining, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace and love.